Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nasuha binti Muhammad Yusuf, metric number 1819270. Today I would like to present a book that I have read, which is Faith and Life by Yusuf Al-Qaradawi. This book is meaningful for me as the information is so wide and it expands my knowledge in regard to humans as a creation and how we should connect our faith in living as a believer. In this presentation, we are going to look at the background of the writer and all four aspects of life that connected to faith. As you can see from the left side of your screen right now is the picture of Yusuf Al-Qaradawi. He was born in 9 September 1926 in a small village in Egypt called Shafturab in the middle of the Delta. Some other important information about Al-Qaradawi is that he had memorized the Quran at the age of 10 years old, and after graduating from Mahad Al-Tanza and Mahad Sanawi, he went to Al-Azhar University in Usuluddin Faculty and he graduated in 1952. In order for him to earn a doctorate at Al-Azhar University Cairo, he wrote a dissertation entitled Zakat and its Influence in Overcoming Social Problems. This dissertation has been published and translated into several languages including the Indonesian edition, and it has been considered as a very comprehensive book discusses the issue of zakat with a modern nuance. But he only obtained his doctorate in 1972 with the dissertation of zakat and its impact on poverty alleviation, which was later perfected into fiqh zakat. Yusuf Al-Qaradawi is also among the greatest scholars of Islam and has received a title of moderate Islamist due to specific event. Yusuf is an Egyptian Islamic scholar based in Doha, Qatar, and he was the chairman of the International Union of Muslim Scholars. His influence include Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Qayyim, Said Rashid Ridha, Hassan al-Banna, Abul Hasan Ali Hassani Nadwi, Abul Ala Maududi, and Naim Siddiqui. He is best known for his program Al-Sharia wa Al-Hayah, which means Sharia and Life, broadcast on Al Jazeera, which has an estimated audience of 40 to 60 million worldwide. He is also known for Islam Online, a website that he helped to found in 1997 and for which he served as chief religious scholar. Plus, Al-Qaradawi has published more than 120 books including The Lawful and the Prohibited in Islam and Islam, the Future Civilization. He has also received 8 international prizes for his contributions to Islamic scholarship and is considered one of the most influential such scholars living today. Al-Qaradawi has had a prominent role within the intellectual leadership of Muslim Brotherhood, an Egyptian political organization, although he has repeatedly stated that he is no longer a member and twice in 1976 and 2004 turned down offers for the official roles of the organization. So now we are going to discuss about the book Faith and Life by Yusuf Al-Qaradawi that has been translated into English by Ahlam Fathi in 2004. In chapter 1 alone, it contains a lot of knowledge in regard to men in many perspectives and their objective. In the first part of chapter 1, Yusuf has mentioned that men in the side of materialists, they are just seen as a creature with no value or privilege over other creatures, or they are somehow similar to animals and plants. However, men in the sight of the believer, they are seen as a creature that has Allah's honor, and what makes man special is that man was given knowledge, will, and as vicegerent on earth who will bounce all resources that Allah has given for the better well-being of Islam. Even they were seen as similar in the eyes of the materialists, but still, the dignity given by Allah to man is outstanding in Islam. That's why we need to make use of whatever lesson that we receive from Allah and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam about creation, life and death, and the reason for our existence. Let's talk about what is the man's position before Allah. It can be said that Allah has mentioned a lot in the Quran that He will always be there for man whenever they need Him, as what we can see in Surah Al-Baqarah verse 115 and 186, Al-Mujadalah verse 7 and Qaf verse 16. Allah also mentioned that man's position in the sight of angels is higher than them. Because even when Allah created man after angels, Allah still asked them to bow and greet in order to show respect to man as they are the vicegerent of Allah on earth. On the other hand, some great scholars also has mentioned how Islam extol man's position. Abu Bakr Al-Arabi has mentioned that Allah the Almighty has never created a better creature than man. For He created him as living, knowledgeable, mighty, able to speak and see, able to dispose of his affairs, and wise. And these are among the attributes of God the Almighty Himself. The reason why the servants of Allah love Him so much is because the harmony between the entity of Allah and man. It is also important to note that the honor of Iman comes after the honor of humanity. It means that a man already have an honor and dignity that was given to him when he was born as a Muslim. But when he has Iman, he will feel deeper meaning and higher honor, since his Iman helped him to increase him to another level where it cannot be reached by normal people. Moving on to the next main subtopic that has been discussed by Yusuf Al-Qaradawi in his book about Iman and happiness. It is different when someone is a believer of Islam and someone who is a materialist that believe that they are similar to any other creature. These people, they will not appreciate things that Allah has provided for them, but for those who are a believer, we will use every single thing that Allah has provided for us as a means to goodness and for us to spread the beauty in this universe. Men living in this world with some purposes which they are neither solely created to be the slave nor to enjoy life as animals do. But Allah has created us to worship Him and be His vicegerent on earth through trials and obligation for the preparation of another world called hereafter. Hence, our life on earth is not living for ourselves but for Allah, where we will be rewarded with happiness when we reach the level of Iman. So, the real happiness for a Muslim is to get a place in the paradise of Allah. There is nothing in this world as perfect as the heaven of Allah, and that's why people from the different eras, starting from the period of Prophet Adam until today, they have tried a lot of ways in order to seek for true happiness, but nothing brings a long-lasting happiness to them except for Allah's paradise. But we need to know that happiness cannot be found in the material pleasure or having fun or experimental science or within human itself. These material things that we receive from Allah only contribute to achieve happiness, but it is not everything, because happiness is not counted by the quantity but it relies on the quality, like Iman, that will give man happiness that will never dry up. Moreover, Al-Qaradawi also pointed out some other important points in regard to Iman and love. So, we should bear in mind that Iman and love should be synchronized to each other in order to achieve true happiness. However, love cannot be simply regarded as anything that we are affectionate about, but we should observe the balance of our love for Allah, nature, life, death, and people. But man should understand that the meaning of love, which is the spirit of existence that will grant us safety, stability, and peace. Muslim love for Allah is that they believe Allah is the provider of life and sole source of creation, protection, origination, and provision. Thus, our love towards Allah can be felt by believing in everything that He instructed to happen, whether it is a test or reward for us. On the other hand, our love for nature can be seen if we benefit them in order to accomplish our mission as a vicegerent of Allah on this earth. While our love for life can be seen when Muslims still go through their daily life even though it is hard for us because we are grateful for everything that Allah has given us. And we remember that not all of us get a chance to keep living in this world. Besides, love for death among Muslims is to the extent where we are keen on gaining Allah's blessing because we know that death only takes us closer and faster to Allah. Last but not least, our love for people can be seen when we preserve our kinship or connection with other peoples in order to protect ourselves from the enemies such as Satan. It can be seen as well where it is urged in the prophetic hadith for the Muslim to be united in order to strive to be better as a nation. Another vital point to note is that Muslims should tolerate among themselves to preserve their generation till the day of Qiyamah. Finally, Al-Qaradawi has presented the idea of Iman and love in his book Faith and Life. It is where Iman and hope are interconnected, as hope is one of the source of security and tranquility for the believer. Hope is like a ray for men in the darkness, which enlighten a way for them to follow, which can be seen in form of motivation for men to struggle in fulfilling his duties. In regard to Islam, Iman will help to produce hope, since Iman means believing in a supreme power that disposes of the affairs of this universe. Believing in unrestricted power, an absolute mercy, a limitless generosity, and believing in an almighty and ever merciful God. Allah also has mentioned that those who has hope in Him will be given protection, and even if he commits sin, he never loses hope of Allah's forgiveness, because Allah has promised that if we give hope for Him alone, however great our sin may be, but Allah's forgiveness is even greater than that. It is necessary to have hope for life, as hope will help for the success of mission and revivals. Imagine if one loses hope, a reformer comes without a weapon, or rather without a hand to hold the weapon. Thus, it is not expected that he can achieve any success. Therefore, to conclude this presentation, I could say that Yusuf has highlighted that we should rely on Allah's love and hope by offering our faith to Him in order for us to achieve true happiness in our life and in the hereafter. It may not be easy, but as long as we hold on to Him alone and we have faith in Him, He will protect us here in the world and in the next world. That is all from me. I really hope that this presentation and this book will benefit a lot for the audience, and thank you for listening. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.